Hello, I'm Mr. Space Marine, and I come with a message. Codexes. What the fuck? Since the dawn of time, Warhammer 40,000 hobbyists have suffered through the grueling process of having to get the rules for the cool toys they just purchased. Some adapted to the process to survive, and many did not. But what's the problem? So you're sitting there at home enjoying your mug of tea when you reach for your codex, and this happens. Your friend wants to play a game of a certain edition of 40k, so you're looking through the codexes and none of them say which edition they are. So are any of the codexes all of the editions? Or are specific ones meant for specific editions? Well, the common opinion is to use the most recent one, and it applies to the most recent rulebook. But what about when one comes out after there has already been a codex used for an edition? Is this new codex for the next edition? Presumably, going off of the use the most current codex complex, it would be the codex for the current edition to use. But what about the last one? That was used for the same edition. Is it no longer a codex used in this edition? Which it once was. Which codex is for this edition? What about when the next rulebook comes out and the book you're using is being used with it for a while? Then a new book comes out later on during that set of the game. There are the years printed, maybe, in the rulebooks it will say which edition it is. Not even in the rulebooks does it say which edition it's for, but at least I have an idea of which codexes go with which rulebook. Wait a minute. None of these books say rulebooks on them, just Warhammer 40,000 and the tagline. Does that mean there hasn't been a rulebook for 40k for years until now? Maybe the books were more just guidelines, only meant to be followed to create a fun game that people could play and make up their own devices for the game, and it could be a large and expansive experience, and that more in-depth and competitive rule sets came after, when the player base wanted that for competitive play, turning the game from the malleable creation it once was, with a book that doesn't even call itself the rulebook, to a cold, gray book showing us that it is the rules. I am Mr. Space Marine. Good night.